All right, let's dive right into this explainer and test your survival skills. We're going to explore a pretty thrilling hypothetical scenario based on Earth's deep history. We'll be looking at massive cosmic events, unforgiving environmental conditions, and the terrifying biological advantages that define the age of the dinosaurs, all to answer one incredibly profound question about our very own existence.
Seriously, imagine if we didn't just inherit the Earth, but actually had to share it. Imagine competing directly with the most terrifying predators nature ever created. I mean, think about it. We humans currently sit super comfortably at the top of the food chain, right? But how much of that dominance is actually due to our intelligence, and how much of it is simply because our biggest competition was wiped out millions of years before we even arrived?
Section 1. The Jurassic Park Myth. Hollywood versus reality.
To start our survival simulation, we need to throw literally everything Hollywood taught us right out the window. You all know the scene, right? A giant T-Rex is roaring right in your face, and the advice is to just freeze. Well, actually, this famous movie trope would absolutely be your last mistake on Earth, because these creatures were far from easily fooled. Standing still wouldn't save you, it would just make you a very convenient stationary snack.
And here's why. You are instantly at the bottom of the food chain, tracked by predators built specifically to find you. Their vision was razor sharp, honestly rivaling modern eagles. Their incredible sense of smell could pick up your scent from miles away. So there goes your element of surprise. And worst of all, they had low-frequency hearing capable of detecting your softest footsteps. They didn't even need to see or smell you. They can just feel the subtle vibrations of you trying to sneak away.
Section 2. Earth's Cosmic Coincidences. A Lucky History.
To understand how we even got the chance to exist without these monsters running around, we really have to look at the massive cosmic luck that shaped our planet. First up, 4.6 billion years ago, our solar system forms, placing Earth at the exact perfect distance from the Sun. Then, between 3 and 4 billion years ago, a planet named Theia collides with Earth, which gifts us our moon, stabilizing our wobble and our ocean tides. But the ultimate reset button gets pushed about 250 million years ago. Extreme global warming triggered the Permian mass extinction, wiping out a staggering 95% of all life. And out of the ashes of that catastrophic extinction, the mighty Mesozoic era of the dinosaurs began.
Section 3. Evolution. Brains versus brawn.
When life restarted, evolution essentially took two wildly different paths to create dominant species. It's kind of like nature was running two massive separate experiments on how to rule a planet. On one hand, nature built dinosaurs to be physically indestructible. They completely dominated for 190 million years, and their strategy was simple: grow bigger bodies but keep small brains. On the other hand, humans have only been around using fire and tools anyway for roughly 6 million years. Our evolutionary focus? Weak, fragile bodies, but highly advanced brains.
Section 4. Surviving the Mesozoic Era. Could you live?
Okay, let's drop your highly evolved brain directly into their prime territory. How well does that massive brain serve you when the environment itself is actively trying to kill you? When you look at the actual data, you see just how incredibly hot and swampy their world was. You'd be exhausted just from the sweat on your forehead. The Mesozoic average global temperature hovered anywhere from 68 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The polar ice caps were completely melted, which flooded the continents. You've got frequent forest fires and extreme, suffocating humidity. Honestly, just standing outside would completely drain your energy before you even crossed paths with a predator. So, in any survival situation, you have 3 strict biological requirements. Let's see how you'd fare. Step 1. Find water. Step 2. Secure shelter. Step 3. Hunt for food. If you can't check these 3 boxes, your time in the Mesozoic is going to be incredibly short.
Surprisingly, you could actually survive the first few days. Nature provides pretty well for those first 2 steps. Natural cave ceilings would offer thick, rocky barriers against predators. Plus, muddy water seeping through the earth and plant roots naturally filters into drinkable fresh water. So boom, you've secured a base and you're hydrated. But eventually, you gotta go outside. The real challenge is step 3. Trying to find food leads to almost certain doom. The Mesozoic menu is totally deadly. Let's break this down. If you try to hunt, your primitive, handcrafted spears absolutely cannot pierce thick dinosaur skin. And if you somehow manage to wound one, well, that hunting injury gives away your exact position to every T-Rex nearby. Storing meat is impossible because the smell attracts predators straight to your cave. Okay, so what if you decide to forage? Well, plant life is just tough ferns and moss, no fruits or veggies yet.
And tasting a wild mushroom is literally a one-guess lethal gamble. One mistake, and you are the dinner.
Section 5. The Dinosaur Breathing Advantage. Thin hair masters. Now, some scientists used to think that if dinosaurs somehow survived to the present day, they'd suffocate in our atmosphere, but the data says the exact opposite. During the Mesozoic era, atmospheric oxygen levels were only at about 15% compared to our present-day 21%. It was like living at a crazy high altitude. Yet these massive creatures, some weighing tens of tons, were sprinting around, hunting, and fighting without skipping a beat. How on earth did they do it?
It all comes down to an ultimate biological advantage: their lungs. See, human lungs retain leftover CO2 after we exhale, which is why we require deep panting during exercise. We're desperately trying to cycle that stale air. But dinosaur lungs? They had these advanced air sacs surrounding them. These sacs continuously stored fresh air before gas exchange even happened. Their lungs literally never ran out of fresh oxygen. They could sprint through thin air without ever panting. They were absolute biological machines.
Section 6. Unnecessary extinction. Our brutal truth.
This brings us to a really humbling realization about our place on Earth. Dinosaurs wouldn't just survive today, their superior lungs and bodies would make them even faster and deadlier in our oxygen-rich world. If they were brought into today's 21% oxygen environment, they wouldn't choke, they'd be supercharged. If they were still here, our big brains wouldn't be enough to save us. Our ancestors armed with fire and sharp sticks wouldn't have stood a chance. We would have never made it to the top of the food chain.
So it leaves you wondering, was a massive, devastating asteroid the only possible way humans could ever exist? It's wild to think just how fragile human dominance really is, considering our entire existence relies on their total destruction. Nature designed the ultimate unbreakable predators, and the only way to reset the board so that fragile, intelligent creatures like us could take over was a literal rock falling from the sky. It's a fascinating, kind of terrifying thought to leave you with. Without the most devastating apocalypse in our planet's history, you and I simply wouldn't be here to talk about it.